What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Create Above and Beyond, and today we are going to be trading for unlimited resources. As hard as it might be to believe, that number of silver coins in this drawer right here is in fact correct. We currently have 782 stacks of silver coins sitting in here waiting to be spent, and they have all come from this extremely simple sweetberry farm that we set up last episode that's just been running in the background while I've been doing a bunch of things around the base, mostly crafting stuff for today's episode. Admittedly, it did take a very long time because there was a lot of different things I needed to make. But either way, it's only been one episode since we set this thing up, and we're almost at 1,000 stacks, which to me is absolutely crazy. So I'm going to try my best to put at least a fraction of these silver coins to good use, and I'm going to do that by trading for these 24 items right here. So a bunch of different kinds of ingots, minerals, gemstones, whatever you want to call them, I'm going to be trading for these. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I could trade for, and a lot of stuff that's really cheap compared to all this right here. But I think these are going to be the most useful to trade for because these require me to go mining, process ores, especially things like making brass. That's such a pain to do. And so I'll save a huge amount of time simply by buying these, and I can just circumvent mining and all that stuff altogether. No automated mining setups, none of that. I'll just buy it. So it's a little bit less creative, I think, than some of the other options, but it'll be the most efficient option to go with. And then eventually I'm going to expand to trade for the rest of these items in here, since I think trading for everything would be a pretty fun challenge before the end of the series. So I think the trading hall is going to go right over here in front of the sweetberry farm. It's close by to the silver coins, so it makes it really easy to transport those over here to do the actual trading. It also just seems thematically correct because we're generating the money right here, so we might as well spend it close by. With that said though, there is one little issue that comes along with this, and it's a tale as old as time when it comes to Minecraft, but if we take a look in here, this is a 3x8 for these 24 items, and right out here, this is an odd number of blocks. This is actually 7 long right here, so it does have a center, and that means that if I want it to be lined up and not totally bother me in my Minecraft OCD, I need to get rid of a couple of these items and bring it from 24 down to 21. So I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of cured rubber because we already have infinite production of that. I'm going to get rid of flint because we have infinite production of that. And then I was kind of wavering between apatite and sulfur. And I think I'm going to go with sulfur because this is really just used to make gunpowder, and we already have an infinite supply of that. So eventually I will trade for all 3 of those in the end somewhere else, but for now I'm thinking the only solution I have for this, instead of doing 24, is to just do 21, and we will do a row of 7 on the bottom right here, and then we'll just do 2 additional rows of that on top. So it should be fine, but it's one thing that I realized we were going to run into the minute I started going to set this thing up, and it's something I should have probably planned for, but oh well, it happens all the time when playing Minecraft. So that's going to be it for the stuff that's going to go above ground. We've got the oak drawers here for the items, and eventually each oak drawer is going to have a redstone link on the back of it that's going to signal to the rest of the setup when it does or does not need more items. Before we get into that though, we need to make the actual brains that are going to be signaled for when it needs items and doesn't. And those are going to go down here in this little dirt area that I cleared out. It's probably going to need to be a lot bigger, but for now this should be sufficient to at least start the setup. And it's not going to be seen by us ever, so I really don't care how it looks, but it'll definitely be very crowded down here in the end. So the first thing we need to do is make an input spot for all these drawers right here, and I'm just going to put down the drawer controller on this side right here. My plan right now is the silver coins will come in this side. Obviously, that's the closest side to where they're currently stored. And then the items will be brought over here so that there's not a bunch of conflicting piping and all that, because we're going to pipe stuff in and pipe stuff out of the trading stations, and it's going to get a little bit messy. But with that said, if you guys have never used a drawer controller before, you're not familiar with it, the drawer controller is super nice when you're using a bunch of adjacent drawers, because all of these are going to have different items in them. And instead of inputting items into each one of these individually and maybe having to filter stuff, we can simply input them all into the drawer controller, and it will sort them to the appropriate connected drawer. So as long as the drawers are all touching another drawer that is eventually touching the drawer controller, this thing is going to be able to direct them to that drawer. So all of these will be handled by this one input right here, which means I can just grab out some item pipes and eventually I'll put them in here. I don't know how I'm going to connect this totally just yet. I need to set up the trade stations themselves first, but that's where the items are going to end up, so it simplifies everything a lot. Now we need to set up the trade stations though, and we're going to need 21 of these because we can only do one trade per trade station, and every trade station needs power, which means we need to set up the numismatic dynamo for each one, which is why the piping gets a little bit crazy. So I'm thinking that we're going to leave a little bit of room in the front here for setting up some of the piping, and then we can probably put the trade stations down, the first line of them down right like this. So we're going to have 7 right here, and then we're going to need 7 of the dynamos going into each one of these like that, if I could orient them properly. And there we go. And then we're going to put down another 7 right here. And we can do another 7 dynamos right like this, pointing into these right here. And I keep messing up just one per row. Oh my gosh, I didn't place it down right again. Okay. No, why is it not? Is it because I'm clicking on the bottom part of this? What if I click on the top? There we go. So this is obviously super clean right here. It's really nice. We're just going to have pipes on top of all of these that bring silver coins in. Unfortunately, though, we still have another 7 trade stations to put down, so we can't put them right here because of how we need to pipe it. So we're going to put them right here. We need to leave at least a single gap between these for a pipe, and then we're going to have to clear out a little bit more. I figured this was going to be an issue. I just didn't think it was going to be an issue already, so... good thing we have a nice shovel here. And then this is where the numismatic dynamos will go. So I don't think I can even orient them properly from here. Oh, wait, I can. It looks like they're kind of bugging out and they don't initially want to place down like this, but they end up like that. And can I get it from here? There's no way. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to clear this out. Eventually, I'm gonna need to come back here anyway. But there we go. Okay. So we've got all 21 trade stations down. Now, a huge annoyance is going to be going through and actually getting all the trade cards for these. I need to buy each one for 10 silver and then slot it into one of these. But I'll do the piping for these first because it's not really specific to what's in there except for 2 of these. And I'll deal with those later because the diamonds need gold and the emeralds need gold, which means we need to automate the conversion of silver to gold and then filter to only put gold in, let's say, these 2 right here. But for pulling the items out, we're just going to put a bunch of brass pipes right here, and then we're going to put another set of brass pipes right here, and then we just need to connect these over here. So I'm just going to go, we can clear out this set right here and just run them along to connect these 2, and then we're going to make sure that they don't end up connecting to other ones that we don't want. So I think I have in my backpack the pipe wrench, and so we should be able to I'm just going to disable all the connections on this side. I know technically it's fine if they're connected to these a second time, but there we go. So now these are all connected here. If I wanted, I could bring this over. It's bothering me that there's like this weird junction right here, but either way, these are all connected. So all the items should end up in there if we put extraction modules in each connected part. So it's going to take a lot of extraction modules, but the nice thing is we can just right click them on each one of these. And if we don't set any filter for them, they're just going to pull out the items that have already been traded for. So they should be good just like that to pull out all the items that we get in these trade stations and bring them over here into this drawer controller. It's definitely not the fastest thing ever, but because I don't think I'm going to be urgently needing to grab out a bunch of these items all the time, that's not a huge concern of mine. But now we need to bring the coins into the trade stations and the numismatic dynamos. So we're going to do a very similar thing. We're just going to put piping on top of all of these right here, and it's going to look really messy. I know it's going to be disgusting, but this is how we got to do it because each one of these needs coins, and I'm hoping I actually might run out of piping here. I might need to make more, but we'll do these right here. And then, like I said, eventually I'm just going to hook these up, assuming they are basically all the same, except these 2 right here. And we can have them hooked up to the same channel. Nope, don't want one back there because I'm going to set some filters on these. And it's going to be really annoying, but I'll have to do it because it'll save us when we have to deal with the gold and silver issue. But now all the coins are going to be brought in these. And if I wanted to, we could just kind of connect them right here. And then we could pipe wrench this right here so that these are all joined together, but not connected to these. And now we need to set a couple things for these. We don't need to put modules in to pull the items because we're going to set extraction modules on the silver and gold drawers. But we do need to set filter modules on these, because if we only had silver coming in here, I wouldn't need any modules on these pipes. But because we're eventually going to be bringing gold and silver in, and I don't feel like separating it all out, I'm just going to put filters on and filter silver for 19 of these and gold for 2 of them. So I'm going to make these last 2 over here the gold ones, but we only need to put the filters for the gold here and here, and then all of these need filters, even the numismatic dynamos, but they're going to need filters for the silver. So I just got to click down a bunch of different ones of these. I'm hoping, no, I don't want to filter that. Okay, just like that. Now, I don't know if I'm going to like miss one of these, and I can probably do the math out to make sure I put enough down, but I guess we should break these so we can get all the way over and we can finish off this side. I think it's these 2 rows right here are the ones that are left, and we should have just enough pretty much. All right, we already have one on that. Okay, so I think all of these should be... Did I already get this one right here? What? Okay, that already has one. Okay, yeah, see, this is my concern. I missed one right here. So if I can just hold down right click and I guess look over all these quickly, and if I click on any of them, then they're ones that I missed. But it's really concerning me that it's so easy for me to miss these now. Do we have all of them done over here? Yes, it looks like we do. So now I get the annoying part of going and setting the filter for these so that some of them have silver and some of them have gold in them. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's done. It's done. That was horrible because you have to go through, you have to set it to silver coins, and then you have to click allow. So it's multiple clicks for each one of these. So they're all done. And then the 2 over there are set to disallow silver coins. So because I don't have any gold coins yet, I'll have them in a second, but I just set them to disallow. So that should work. And I think now it's time to bring the silver coins over. It's going to take a while for these to fill up, but also we got to deal with trading for the gold coins. Now I'm not going to store the gold coins in bulk anywhere because then it's going to convert all my stuff and we won't have any silver coins. I'm only going to make as many as we need. And then there will be a backlog of like 64 of them, but that should be fine. I don't think this will be an issue. It might, I might find out that this isn't going to work, my plan, but I'm thinking we're just going to set up a trade station right down here, and we'll put down trade station there, numismatic dynamo there, and we're going to connect the pipes from over here. And I might have to clear out some more room here. I'm not too sure, but I'm thinking that if we hook them up here and we can disconnect this just so it doesn't get wonky with that. If we were to set this to pull items, so if we took out the medium extraction module, it should start pulling out silver coins in stacks of 8. And I don't know, will they get inserted? Okay, so they're going to go in the numismatic dynamo first. Cool. So that's powering this. Then they should go in here, with this being the next inventory they can go to. So, yep, there we go. And then we can put exchange currency option. Now the question is pulling out of here. Will items get pulled out of here? No. So we're going to have to put down another pipe on top of here. And we're going to have to put this as an... we don't need a medium extraction module. A low one should be fine. So that should be able to pull out the gold. And then the gold should end up in one of these 2 over here in the back. So if we take a look here, it should end up, yep, it ends up right here. Great. So eventually this will fill up, then it should fill up this one. Now, those stacks are going to take so many silver coins to make. That's going to make a huge dent in our silver coins. I'm actually curious right now if I were to go and look, I'm going to take out a calculator on my phone and I'm going to do this math. It's going to take 64 silver coins, I believe, to make 1 gold. And then that's going to be 4,096 silver coins per stack of gold in here. So that's going to be a lot. That's going to be 64 of our stacks per one of these. So 128 for both. And then I think it should make another stack of silver coin or gold coins in there. So 3 stacks. So right out the gate, 200 stacks of silver coins basically are going to be gone just to make the gold. And it's definitely not fast, but whatever. Once this is done, the silver coins will start filling up the rest of this setup over here. It's just going to take a really, really, really long time. I don't think any of the silver coins are probably making it to any of the... Well, actually they are. Oh, okay, so they are. While that's kind of waiting, they're making it over here. That's great. Okay, so now I need to go and get all the different trading cards for each one of these and put it into one of these trade stations for each one. And then I think it should be almost good to start setting up the redstone. Well, it looks like these are filling up nicely. We have at least one of everything. Now, it's been a huge pain since the last clip because I had to go through and I had to manually insert each one of these import cards into these, but then I also had to go through and manually put coins into every single one of the trade stations and every single one of the dynamos because I need at least one of each of these items so that I can start setting up the redstone controls. And while I might have been able to go over to my chest and just grab these out, I definitely didn't have all of these sitting there. So I figured the easiest way to do it was simply to get them put into these drawers here and then go based off that. So the first thing I'm going to do is lock each one of these drawers to whatever's in there right now. Maybe I'll reorganize them later, but I really don't care about the order. It's probably bothersome that the ingots aren't all together, but who cares? They're all locked into their drawers, and now we need to start working on the redstone control, because as you can see, there's a lot of items flowing in here, and it's mainly coal and redstone, which is like right here, we've got almost 10 stacks of redstone. I don't want that much redstone. So we need to start putting down these links on the back here, and eventually these are all going to be set to their own channels. And then we're going to have to go and put redstone upgrades in each one of these drawers here. So these will emit a redstone signal with the strength based on how full they are. So these will all light up here, but they have varying strengths. So I think if we shift click on these, will that work? No, okay, we can just regular click on them. It's not gonna try and pull the items out or anything. So there we go. Each one of these should be lit up on the back then. Yes, there we go. Now, what I need to go and do is go through and make these channels for each one of these items. Now that they're locked, I can pull each one out. So like grab out an emerald, set that to be frequency 1 for that, and then put it back and do the same thing down here with some apatite and put that here. So really not that fun, but when we come back, I'll be able to set the controls so I stop getting a bunch of redstone and coal because it's using up all my silver coins over here for these stupid items that I don't need that much of. Now that all the channels have been set and that annoying thing is done, I need to do the next annoying step, which is almost the same exact thing, but it's going to be coming down here, and I cleared out an area below all the trade stations, and I need to put redstone links that are receivers on each of these trade stations, and then make it the appropriate frequency for each of those drawers. But I need to make it double frequency, so if on those drawers it was diamond, frequency 1 was diamond, I need to make this frequency 1 and 2 as diamond, because the inputs for the outputs from those drawers up there are not going to be the direct inputs for each of these trade stations. We're going to end up having a middleman sort of operation, which is going to use a comparator to determine if the input should or should not turn off the trade station. So I need to go through first and set up all the links on each of these trade stations. Then we get to do all the comparator work, which will make all of this function properly. Okay, so all the frequencies are now set. It was, again, a huge pain to do, but I have everything in my inventory, so I can just kind of run through. I had to make sure, though, that they did line up. So in this one, we have our Fluix quartz, and I had to make sure that those were the ones that were here. So all of the different trade cards need to line up with what's being disabled for each of these. Now, I could also put these exact redstone links on the appropriate numismatic dynamos, because eventually these coins will still be being used just at a very low burn rate. So something like 4 RF per tick if there's nowhere for the energy to actually go, but they are still being used and wasted. So eventually, if I wanted to double up on the links, I could turn these off when these are also not trading. That would be ideal, and I can easily just copy these over there with the same frequencies. But I first need to set up this whole middleman operation, which is going to tell these systems if there is enough in the storage drawers or if there's not. So I'm going to do an example or two with you guys so you know what I'm doing, but I'm definitely not going to make you guys watch me set this whole thing up. So we're going to be using, and I have to kind of think through this, a redstone link, and we can kind of do 2 of these at once, a comparator into each one of these, and then we're going to have a redstone link going into the comparator, and then finally, we're going to have an analog lever and some redstone going right here, and the lever right here, and then I just got to open up another space in my inventory so I can set these to be receiving. So this analog lever right here is one that we can change. Now I could use a redstone link right here and connect these all to one analog lever, but it was easier for me to make a bunch of analog levers than even more redstone links. So eventually I might move this analog lever up there so I can move the levels I want above ground, whenever I choose to. But for now, I am just going to set this to be, let's say, a strength of 4. Now, I have no idea how many stacks that's going to be. It's at least a couple stacks. And so if I set this to be a frequency and we put these on subtract, well, then it's only going to start registering a redstone signal at 1 or above when this reaches 5 or above. And so that's going to let these fill up to an appropriate amount. The minute it starts throughputting signal, though, to this one, which is going to correspond with whatever frequency up here we end up choosing, I'm going to have to do one of these for each of them. Then it's going to turn these off because they are on redstone control on low. So any signal over 0 is going to turn these off. So right here, if I wanted to set it for this one is zinc, it looks like, or is that andesite alloy? It's andesite alloy. Great. Well, we'll put this right here. And then we will put this one to be 1 andesite alloy. So this is probably bringing through a signal strength if we pull off of this of 1. So that's not going to do anything to shut this off. But if we set this one up, if we were to do one for redstone, and I'm not going to do it right now, but it'll turn off the redstone. So I'm able to do this because we can use 1 analog lever for 2 of these. I don't know if you can like throughput with redstone comparators. So like if this signal coming from this side also comes out this, I don't think it does. So it's going to take a fair bit of room to get all these set up, but I'm going to hop off camera again and do all of these. It's just a ton of the same thing. So you guys only need to really see it once, but I guess another example would be if we want to quickly do lead, all I'm going to be doing again is just doubling up on the frequency for this, sending to this one, and then singular frequency here on 1. But this is only going to be a signal strength of 1, so it's not going to stop it yet. So again, I'm going to go do this a bunch of times so that all of these are able to turn off appropriately. And then we should start getting some of the resources that we're not currently getting instead of the stupid coal and redstone. Okay, guys, well, it has been ages since the last clip. There's a lot of work that I've done because there were some issues I ran into that I'm going to have to go over with you guys. Kind of a brain fart on my part, but everything should be working now. As you can see, we've got items coming in for all of these. We've got like 5 stacks of diamonds. I also have a bunch in my inventory from an issue that I was just fixing. We've got some apatite, some emeralds are finally coming in. You know, everything's got at least a little bit in there. Some of these we got more than others. We got way too much coal and redstone. Those hit their actual stack limit, which they should not have, but these hit that before the redstone was set up. So they just kind of went over. But, you know, we've got like 10.5 stacks of andesite alloy. That's great. I don't have to deal with andesite ever again. We've got some brass finally coming in. Super nice. I covered up this area in the back here so the grass will grow on there and it'll start looking better. And now we can come take a look downstairs and things are going to look a little bit different down here. Got a nice little service hatch here because I was making a lot of trips back and forth down here. And you can see that there's still some items spilled out from when I was fixing this. We also don't need that right there. But everything should be working properly now. So you people who know redstone probably were cringing while I was doing this, but it didn't occur to me that having the redstone links in the bottom of a trade station would then send that signal to adjacent trade stations, which would cause an issue because adjacent ones would be disabled when they should not have been. So what I did is I had to spread them out 1 each. So I had to come over a little bit further, redo some of the piping. So everything should be working now. You can see that there's items flowing through here and it's, you know, some of these are being disabled. Redstone is disabled. The, what are these? The fluid crystals are disabled. We have disabled coal over here. We're probably getting pretty close on the cinnabar to being disabled. Andesite alloy is disabled. So those aren't being traded, but we've got a lot of items flowing up that pipe right there, as we'll see. Yeah, we got some items flowing up there, and eventually we will have these filling up over here down the line. The main problem is just that I don't have a high tier extraction module because that requires the enderium stuff. So that would be able to pull a stack at a time. Right now it's only pulling 8. And the problem is the diamonds are using up 64 of those. So the minute the diamonds are done being traded in here and we're not generating gold anymore, then, well, I guess we also need the emeralds too. But once that happens, the rest of these will fill up. But it should kind of sequentially go down the line, get all of these their baseline, and then as I pull some out here and there, it'll refill those. So it's kind of an arduous process right out the gate to get everything filled up. I'm gonna have to AFK for a while to get all these to fill up, but eventually it should be good. And you can see all the redstone here. All of these have been set, but I think it's gonna be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to give it a like and be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on a future one. And I will talk to you guys later.